Stop shooting on New Year's Eve. If you want to do something, get some fireworks or something, stop shooting. Last night at about 12 a.m., we had a bullet come through our house. A full bullet went through the back of my house, through my laundry room, my bathroom, my utility closet, and into my living room. And it stopped in a lotion bottle. It went through a bag I had. And it stopped because of a lotion bottle that I had on my desk that I work at. I have lotion everywhere in my room now, in my living room. It stopped right at the couch that my mom, my son, and I were sitting at. Because why are y'all shooting guns straight? It traumatized my 11-year-old. Traumatized me. Traumatized my mom. Like, stop shooting guns. If you just want to hear a loud bang, go get a firework. But you literally putting folks' lives in danger by shooting guns. I got the police here. A fucking 45 and came through my door, through my window. Went through 5 walls, 2 window panes, and a down, oh God, and a screen. Stop. Y'all almost killed us last night.
Happy New Year, y'all. Y'all heard this shit? I'm gonna stand under this because I don't want to be. It's not safe to just stand out there. But Happy New Year, y'all. You hear this shit? Y'all hear that shit? I don't want to just stand out there because shit ridiculous, ain't it? I just don't want to stand out there. I just want y'all to hear this shit. Every motherfucker with a gun. Every motherfucker with a gun. Happy New Year, people. I gotta move away from this shit. I hate this shit. Fucking ridiculous. I hate this shit. It's time for me to move. I fucking hate this shit every fucking year.
Once you start reading that Bible, getting closer with G.O.D., man, I'm telling you, can't no school, can't no person, can't nobody on this, can't nothing on this earth hit on that wisdom that you gonna come across. For them great, it's just gonna be something that come in your body, and you just gonna be like, whoa, where this come from? I'm a whole different person, you know what I'm saying? I'm way smarter than I was. G.O.D., slick my yarn.
Oh my gosh, Diddy. Oh my gosh, Epstein. Did y'all know CERN opened a fucking portal yesterday? Did y'all know that? Did y'all know that? Stop being fooled by this bullshit, because they ain't dropping shit but redacted documents. They want y'all to focus on that shit so they can do what the fuck they want to the reality while nobody paying the fuck attention. Pay the fuck attention, people. Fuck!
Story time, y'all. Let's motherfucking get into it. So I just got done talking to this homeless lady. I gave her $5. You know, she was in 7-Eleven and she needed some money and I gave it to her. You know, why not? I'm a generous person. So let's start there. And then she proceeds to tell me, like, out of nowhere, like, did you know that they're kidnapping homeless people and cremating them and putting them into the drugs, specifically fentanyl? And I said, hold on, wait a minute, little mama. I said, wait a minute. I said, girl, are you for real? She said, yeah. She said, I know you're probably not going to believe me because, you know, like, I'm homeless, but, like, I'm for real. She said, a couple of my good friends that I have been staying in tents with have been missing. And I was in San Francisco a few weeks ago, and basically she was like, yeah, these people on the Tenderloin was basically selling fentanyl, and it had looked like bone fragments in it. Okay, let's start there. So she basically was like, you know, like, what the fuck is that? And I guess the guy told her was like, oh, like, this, that new shit, like, basically, okay. And then she says, she starts to have like a panic attack, and she starts to get into it with the guy and was like, no, those are bones, either from some animal or some fucking person. She was like, like, I don't want no parts in that, okay? Let's end that right there. And then she fucking tells me last week she almost gets kidnapped by some strange fucking like people, like a group of men, like out in San Francisco again, right? So I'm like, girl, what is going on in San Francisco? Because I told her just a few months ago, I had posted a video about how they're kidnapping people in San Francisco, like in broad daylight and like a thief in the night. And I have a video of a van, like literally just looked like it got done snatching somebody up, and they are speeding through every stoplight, every fucking stop sign. Like it's bad. So I'm telling her, like, my experience, like from what I've seen when I was in San Francisco, just driving through that bitch. So then she tells me, she's like, yeah, like, I got almost kidnapped last week, and she's like, I got away, and she's like, I'm scared to go to the police because she's like, I think they're police officers. And she says the only reason why how I know I think they're police officers is because basically, like, one of the guys, she can tell from the build and how they are, because, you know, she says she used to be a prostitute, like, some years ago, and she says she knows police officers, body language, like, all that, and she said, like, this was a police officer. So I tell her, I'm like, girl, yeah, you need to do something, like, maybe you just need to stop going to San Francisco, or, like, I don't know, but, like, why the fuck is this happening and no one is talking about it? They are cremating homeless people and putting them in the drugs. Oh my motherfucking God.
There are two types of people you're going to have a problem with when you really start following Christ. The overly religious and the overly wicked. Why? Because the overly religious are those that perform righteousness, that are all hell-bent on their behavior, so hell-bent on their behavior that they can't receive the free gift that comes from Jesus, right? So when you meet religious people, these are people who have a form of godliness but lack the power because they're all about behavior. On the outside, they look religious, they perform religion, but in their hearts, they're full of anger, bitterness, resentment, all types of evil and perversion that you might not know anything about, but on the outside of their cups, they look clean, but the inside is filthy. These are the same people that hung Jesus on the cross. These are the same people that Jesus told, your body is filled with dead man's bones, or take the log out of your eye before you try to pull the splinter out of somebody else's eye, or let he who is without sin cast the first stone. He was talking to the religious that were constantly bringing forth people to accuse. These are the same religious people who had a problem with Jesus for sitting with tax collectors and prostitutes. They will have a problem with you when you truly begin to follow Christ. And then you have the overly wicked. The people who are in love with their sin, who love darkness, who want to live in rebellion, that don't want to see the light, that don't want a free gift, that feel like they don't need to be saved and they don't want anything to do with that. And they feel like you're too religious and they don't want to be around you because they don't want to be a part of that. They will hate you too, and you might run into problems with them. And you might be asking yourself, okay, well, if there's such a thing as overly religious or overly wicked, where does that leave you when you truly follow Christ? It leaves a relationship. It leaves accountability. It leaves a person with a heart's posture of search me, O God. Know my anxious thoughts. Point out everything in me that is offensive to you. Create within me a clean heart and renew within me a right mind so that I can walk with you, so I can lead a life that is worthy of the call. That is the difference between the religious and the righteous. People who are actually accountable to God, people who are loving their neighbor, people who are forgiving and showing grace unto others as God has shown grace to them. Now, these people, when you look at them, they won't look like the religious. They will look like everyday people, and this is why the religious have a problem with them. But this is why the wicked can also be influenced by the righteous, those who are truly righteous. Because remember, Jesus sat with tax collectors and prostitutes. He sat with the people of the world, that he might be able to become like all, that he might win some. Okay? But when you look at religious people, they have a problem with people who are in relationship because they don't feel like they should be amongst people who might deal with drug abuse or alcohol abuse or perversion of any sort, when all the while in private, the religious are performing these exact same things that they're judging other people for. What am I saying? When you truly get a relationship with God, when he truly begins to call you out of darkness and into his marvelous light, you know that you have a history. You know the places that you've been. You know the mistakes that you made. You know how much grace and forgiveness that you needed from God. Therefore, when you go out into the world, you can show that to the same sinners that you used to also sit with. And the religious won't like that. And sometimes the religious will look at you like you don't belong in the church, but you'll go into the world and you won't belong in the world. So you'll be too holy for the sinners and you'll be too wicked for the saints because you don't walk the way they do or talk the way they do or think the way they do. Therefore, you are in direct relationship with the one who was and is to come. So some people are going to be mad at you, and that's okay. Do you know that you could be worshiping the devil and not even knowing it, not even realizing? Yeah, I remember I was watching Jeffrey Dahmer, that movie or that Netflix thing not long ago. The one that she was like, I'm not eating that. I was watching that, and it was a scene where they had the Satanist book open, and the first thing that was on there, I don't remember perfectly, but it says something like, you are your own God. So basically, do whatever you want to do, follow your own self, do whatever you please, what makes you happy. Then the other day I saw a video about that same thing, that the first thing of the Satanist Bible was basically saying like, do what you please, you're your own God, follow your heart, do whatever you want. Now, I never looked into it because I don't give a freak about what's going on over there. I'm on Jesus' side. But when I seen that, it made me realize like, you can really be worshiping Satan without even knowing it. Satan wants you to love yourself, do whatever you want. Satan wants you to be your own God. We were not created to be our own God. God created us to love him and follow him and worship him. We as humans, we need something to worship. That's why people we idolize our phone, we idolize relationships, we idolize ourselves, we idolize money. We need something to idolize because that's how we were made. We were made to worship God. So if we're not worshiping God, we're worshiping ourselves and what we like. So if you just love sin and you love having so much fun with sin and doing what you want, doing what pleases you, what you love, you're making yourself your own God. And if you're living like that here on earth, mind you, the earth, Jesus is coming back. The earth is not going to be here for long. He's going to destroy this earth. Or before that even happens, if you act like that here on earth, you cannot expect to go to heaven. Heaven that's God's house. You think you wilding down here, you gonna get that? And y'all, I know y'all probably looking at it like, girl, it is not that serious. Baby, I promise you it's that serious. And I'm just telling you this because I love you. And I want the best for you. And I hope that you take this time now while you can. Because once there's no chances. You had your chance on earth, baby. So take this time now while you can to get to know Jesus. While I'm saying this, Jesus is the only way to heaven. Jesus is the one and only true God. And he's the only one on this planet in this universe, that has an empty grave. Jesus did what he did on the cross for us so that we can be saved through him. But we can't live however we want to live. We got to live for him. So hopefully this year you get your relationship right with Jesus. And if you do, I love you. And I'll see you in heaven.
Listen to me. When God's favor is on your life, jealousy doesn't just show up, but jealousy lurks. Jealousy literally studies you, and it watches like all of your wins. It counts your blessings and quietly resents the grace you didn't even ask for that's operating in your life. And here's the part most won't admit. Some of you keep certain people at a distance, not because you're arrogant, right? but because you're protecting them from a battle they're not built to handle. See, you have eyes and you can see. You've seen it too many times. Kind hearts turn competitive. Quiet friends turn critical. And people you try to love start wrestling with you in rooms you never fought them in. Because some folks don't hate you. They hate the way God refuses to let you lose. And every door that opens, every blessing that lands, every storm you survive becomes a mirror exposing their lack of stewardship, their lack of discipline, and their lack of obedience. See, you can't help that you're blessed. You can't help that you're chosen. You can't even help that heaven keeps putting its fingertips on everything connected to you. But here's the prophetic part. Stop shrinking to make jealous people comfortable. They were intimidated before you said a word, and they felt threatened before you took a step. And your dimming your light doesn't heal their heart. It only dishonors the God who lit you. So when you are God's chosen one, people won't always understand you, but they will always notice you. That's the part you got to get, because favor is loud even when you're silent. Grace is visible even when you're humble. And yes, favor provokes jealousy. It comes with the territory. But don't ever apologize. Don't you dare apologize for it. See, you gotta understand that you're favored and walk in your calling boldly. And let those who can't handle it distance themselves, because the people assigned to you won't be threatened by your glow. They will be activated by it.
Man, a lot of y'all started y'all New Year off in the club with a whole bunch of Jezebels, lustful demons, warlocks, greedy folk, gluttonous folk. I'm talking about all these evil spirits. Like, why would you want to bring in the New Year around the stuff that you trying to escape or get away from around? Like, the club scene ain't that important, man. Should have brought it in at home, praying, thanking God to be in a different year. Not bringing it in, listening to all type of devilish murder music and lustful music. Like, man, it's gonna be the same year for you. Bringing it in with all them evil spirits, and a lot of y'all made connections with folks at the club last night that y'all finna bring into the New Year with. Yeah, you met that flashy dude last night, but he a warlock. You didn't know they did it. Yeah, you met her last night. She real pretty, wasn't it? She was a Jezebel with a face full of makeup that's finna ruin your life in 2026. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I can't make this stuff up, man. Start the year out the wrong way.
I want to encourage whoever's watching this video to forgive your family members. Forgive whatever family member that you're harboring unforgiveness towards. It's not worth it. It's not worth the wall that's going to be put up between y'all. It's not worth the bitterness that's going to store in your heart and turn you into a person that God don't even want you to be. Y'all, I learned that recently. Jesus' brothers didn't even believe in him. And you want to know what was Jesus' response to that? Forgiveness. You ever heard of the book of James? That's Jesus' brother that didn't believe in him, but yet wrote a book in the Bible. Jesus not only forgave James, but he allowed him to be inspired by his spirit and to write scriptures that we learn from today. And it don't even stop there. Jesus made James the first leader over the church in Jerusalem. Jesus is real life the best example we have. For a long time, I didn't even know that Jesus set the example on how to forgive a sibling. I understand he set the example of forgiveness as far as in general, but the fact that Jesus had brothers that didn't believe in him and he forgave them. And not only did he forgive them, that blew my mind. And here we are, we can't call our siblings. We still mad at them. You know, we don't want to show up to this. We don't want to support them. And that's just bitterness. That's just unforgiveness. That's just anger. And it's not worth it, because when the day comes, when one of us pass away, you know, we don't want to look back or leave somebody with the regret of, dang, I wish I would have made things right. Or we stuck with the regret, dang, I wish I would have forgave them. I wish I would have had this conversation with them. So make the best of those moments now. Actively love each other, express that love, embrace each other. We see an example of this whenever Joseph, when his brothers sold him into slavery, whenever they linked back up and they was all reminiscing, and, you know, Joseph was saying, like, he forgive him. He didn't just forgive him, he loved on him and he embraced his brothers. Let's imagine how James felt alongside with his other siblings, with Jesus being your big brother. That is one shadow. That is one big shadow to be in. And on top of that, he's perfect. And with Jesus being the oldest, 9 times out of 10, he's probably left in charge. You see what I'm saying? So, man, he's complete light and pureness. So he will bring out your insecurities. He will bring out your flaws. So it's up to you if you want to embrace that and humble yourself and follow in that example. So, man, just imagine, like, bro, I can't do nothing right. This dude, you know what I'm saying? And they saying he's God. It's like, oh my. So, man, and it's just a tough concept to even wrap around. You know, just imagine being James, like, yeah, God is my brother. Yeah, it's like, what? Like, God came down in the flesh, and it just happened to be my brother. So you can only imagine what was going through their minds. Like, ain't no way. But I say all that to say is, look at how Jesus responded to it, man. Man, when I tell you, his heart is so beautiful, because, oh man, you don't see stuff like that. This is such a normal thing where siblings just be fighting and bickering and just this. It's like, oh man, let's just love them. Let's just forgive each other and just, man, have that love, have that charity for one another, and really be who God called us to be. Don't allow unforgiveness and bitterness to cause a drift. We're stronger together when we're in Christ, man. So whether it be a brother, sister, mother, sister, I don't care. Just forgive them. Call them up and be like, man, I forgive you. I love you. You know, whatever it is that we can do to make it right, let's make it happen, man. So just find somebody to love on today. Find somebody to forgive. I love you guys, and I pray that this message really found y'all well. Until next time.